Hey there, I want to talk about some of the metal and chassis prep that I do on my builds. I've had a number of people ask about it, so I'm going to show you basically what I do using rivet nuts and how I mount the filter cap board, transformers, choke, things of that nature. So let me first start off by saying that I use this gun right here. And has a forward and a reverse here for these wire nuts here, these guys. All right, so basically why I do this is these go into these holes here, which I open up, right, for the doghouse and different things. And then that crimps those in there. The beauty of these guys is you can use a machine screw instead of using just sheet metal screws, which always loosen up. And after a while, if you take stuff on and off enough times, they'll strip out. So these are really great. And so it takes an extra few minutes to put them in, and it won't cost you a whole lot in hardware, but I think it's very much worth it. The other thing I do is on the filter cap board here, instead of trying to screw it down in and figure out the clearance and things like that, I drill the holes for the board, and then I'll take about a 1-inch bolt, stick through there with this nut. This is an 832, and basically this guide, well, let me see here. Yeah, it slips on there, and then you tighten it up. And these nuts down here are the spacer to keep it from shorting out, right? And so it's pretty nice, and what's nice about it is it's very serviceable. So later on, if you need to take it off and do a cap job, you need to get underneath the board for some reason, you got all the access in the world, and you don't have to get underneath the board for other kind of screws or whatever. So I've been doing this for a while. I like it a lot. These filter caps, a lot of guys use RTV on them to glue them down. I use hot glue and give a little relief on all the leads, and it works out really well for me, that is. So let me stop the camera and I'll get the tool ready and I'll show you how this thing works. All right, so here we go. We got the gun here, forward, reverse. And what we do is just take one of these rivet nuts here, put it on the end, get it started like so. And you stick it in the hole on the chassis, and that's it. Now you have this really nice nut rivet in your chassis to use, and it sticks up just a little bit on the inside. It doesn't interfere with anything. And if you screw up and you strip one out, you can drill it out and just put another one in there. It's very simple. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do the chassis, and then I'll show you how well it works. All right, and fast forward a bit, and here's all the areas here that we're going to use. So for example, I put the doghouse on there. Boom, I got machine screws. It's really nice. These are 832. That's what I like to use. 1032 is a little too big, 632 a little too small for me. So 832 works out perfect. Now you'll see these holes right here are offset. That's because I'm using a bigger transformer on this build. But as you can see, it goes right on there. We got the holes for the choke here, for the reverb driver. And yeah, it's good to go. So let me get a couple other things put together and I'll be right back. One other thing I'll mention for maybe first time builders, or guys who've done this a time or two, is use these grommets here. Any place in this chassis where a wire goes from the bottom through to the inside, do yourself a favor, put your rubber grommet there. That'll save you some headache from cutting worn wires later on. All you pros and guys with experience already know this. Okay, and so here we are in the filter cap mount. Got my bolts there. That thing is strong. Wires running through the grommets. And as you can see, it doesn't look like a lot of clearance, but it does clear. And that board that we get from Mr. Doug Hoffman, that thing's not going anywhere. So anyway, there's lots of ways to do things. That's the way I do it. And what's nice is now I can take this doghouse cover and set it on there with some 832 screws, and I'm good to go.